Hey, Brian from Snake Bites here. Winter is upon us, which means a lot of people are going to start getting sick with colds and stuff like that, which brings me to a touchy subject. Do our animals get sick, and what do we do about it? You're watching Snake Bites. Whenever you're dealing with a large living population, of course there's going to be health issues. And it'd be unrealistic to think that a large population is 100% healthy 100% of the time. Dealing with tens of thousands of snakes, occasionally we do have health issues, and it would be irresponsible for me to tell you any different. So what I want to do is take a look at the most common things, tell you how we treat them to either reduce or even cure the issue, and hopefully help you guys in the future. One of the most common issues that can cause health problems in snakes are snake mites. Now what a mite is a little parasitic bug. In itself is typically not a problem unless there's a huge infestation. But the biggest issue is it can be a vector for spreading disease. So it's very important to try to identify it as early on as possible and make sure you eradicate it. Now snake mites can come in a number of ways. They can come in on bedding, they can come in on new snakes that you brought into the collection, they can even come in on yourself if you're at another collection or a snake show and get them on your body. The biggest thing is to make sure to eradicate them as quickly as possible. The way you can identify them early on is oftentimes snakes will spend time in the water trying to drown those mites. So as soon as you see a snake starting to bathe a lot, make sure you take it out of the water. So if you see little black dots or little bugs on the bottom of the water dish, or even see them crawling around the snake or hiding in the scales, it's very important to try to get rid of that as quickly as possible. We prefer to use a product that's called Prevenamite, which is actually an aerosol. What you're going to want to do is take the snake out of the cage, spray down all of the bedding as best as you can, removing the water at the same time and replacing it with fresh water about 30 seconds later. You put the snake back in and the snake mite should get killed within a day or two. Again, I always treat about 10 to 13 days later just as a preventative to make sure that you've gotten everything taken care of.
Alright guys, Cal's question of the week. Now Christmas is coming up and Black Friday's in the midst. Black Friday here in the US is probably the biggest shopping day of the year. There's sales all over the place. Even BHB is having a sale. I'm not huge on going on Black Friday unless it's an amazing deal. A lot of people sit online nowadays and just do that, save themselves the time and effort. But let me know what you guys think of it. If you guys go out, if you guys can't stand it, text the video comment below. Let me know.
One of the problems that can be really serious in any reptile is upper respiratory infection, or just a cold basically is what happens. In ball pythons, we see it through stress, lack of humidity, and even husbandry issues. So it's very important to catch it as early as possible and make sure you eradicate it. If you can catch it quick enough, you can definitely get rid of it a lot better. I'm going to show you a few things that we look for to catch it as early as possible, what the signs are, and then show you the treatments that we use to make sure we eradicate it as quickly as we can. One of the first things that we look for is this skunking up on the side of the cage. This is basically what happens when an animal starts to sneeze up mucus. It's the early signs of a respiratory infection. So certainly we're going to take a really close look. And as you can see, this animal just has a little bit of bubbling going on. And you can see if you squeeze his head just barely, even more mucus comes out. This is a sign of an upper respiratory infection, and we need to get this animal treated as quickly as possible. The first thing we do with an animal that has an upper respiratory infection is actually do something that's called nebulization. Now we use this product called F10 that's going to be available in the United States here within the next few weeks. Right now we get it out of South Africa or the UK. We use it for disinfecting all our stuff now, but we also use it for nebulization. And all you have to do is get one of these ZoomEd foggers, which are really cool. They're only $60 or $70, and you take 3 cc's of this F10 product and you add it to 1 liter of sterile water. You basically just put this back on, put it in here. I've cut a 1-inch hole in this Rubbermaid container. So I turn the fogger on, and as you can see, it actually fogs the F10 in water solution into the cage, where I'll keep that snake for 20 minutes with it turned on full blast. Then I turn it off for 20 minutes, leaving the snake in, so it's a total of 40 minutes. I'll do that every day for 10 to 12 days. Typically, that will kick the respiratory infection. If I don't see improvement within the first 5 to 7 days, then I contact my vet and we start doing injections. Now, I don't have any snakes that are sick enough that need injections at this point, and even this animal is really in the early stages of respiratory, so chances are nebulization alone is going to cure this animal. If it ends up not getting better, or if I get something else, I'm going to go to a qualified reptile vet. They're probably going to give it antibiotic injections. Usually there's 10 treatments of either Fortaz, amikacin, or Baytril, or an antibiotic like that, and 9 times out of 10, that's going to be enough to get an animal back to health and feeding and doing well for you. The next problem is something that I've only seen once or twice in the 20+ years that I've been keeping snakes in my collection, but I've certainly seen a bunch of pictures of other people that have had the problem, so I thought it was worthy of talking about. It's actually called scale rot, and it's actually a fungal infection of the ventral scales. Oftentimes it's because it's being kept in a dirty cage or a wet cage, and this fungal thing grows and it actually can kill the snake. So it's really important when you get something like that to make sure to keep the cage super clean and super dry. And ironically enough, that F10 product that's coming into the country, it supposedly kills fungal, including the spores. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully that being the cure to scale rot. Now, this isn't a major health issue, but it's certainly something that we deal with a lot here at BHB, and that's stuck sheds. What basically happens is the humidity isn't high enough, the animal just doesn't shed out really well, and in particular, ball pythons need a really high humidity, and we're always struggling with that here. Now, again, it's not something that's going to kill an animal, but there's 2 things about it. If it's on its eyes, if it's long enough, 2 or 3 shed cycles, it'll actually cause the snake to go blind. And let's face it, it just probably isn't very comfortable for the animal, so there's a chance it may not feed, and it's just not going to thrive if it has a stuck shed. A real simple solution, again, you go back to that warm water bath for maybe an hour or 2. The other thing you can do is put either damp paper towel or even damp newspaper in the cage and put it right on top of the snake, and it's going to go in there and get all that shed off within a day. Now, another health issue we see mainly with colubrid snakes, but can certainly happen with all snakes, is regurgitation or throwing up of their food. Of course, if a snake throws up time after time, it's going to be a problem because it's getting no nutrition. The thing you want to do to make sure it doesn't become a chronic problem is as soon as it throws up, give it a week off of food. Don't feed it at all for about 7 to 10 days, and then feed it a really small meal the next time, slowly working your way back up over 3 or 4 feedings to a normal sized meal. 99% of the time, that's all you have to do to get the snake back to health. If it continues to throw up again, we use a product called Flagyl. It actually comes in a tablet form, but we have our vet mix it up into a solution, and all you do is put a little drop on a rodent and feed it to the snake, and it pretty much cures the problem 99% of the time. Again, this whole topic about health in snakes is a really touchy one, because I certainly don't want people to think that our collection is full of sick animals. The truth is that when you have a large collection of any type of living animal, you're certainly going to have your share of health issues. And trust me, we have a very small amount of them, but we wanted to make sure that we gave you guys the best advice we possibly could.
Yo, 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 this is your boy Tupac. Someone challenged me to a dance-off. So you know when I do it snakebite style. Hit the beat, boys. Woo. Ow! Ow! Woo! Ah! Yo, these green homies are whack. I'm gonna take my dance moves where they appreciate it. Peace out.
For this week's Comment of the Week on the Dumb Snakes episode, the question was, what's the smartest or dumbest thing you've ever done? And Anti-Humanism said,
I do the stupidest thing on earth every 4 years or so. I think they called it voting? Yeah, you get this impression that you're contributing to something, but you're really not. It's great. You see all these nice propaganda pictures and stuff. It's nice to talk about, but it's really not something you should do.
Okay, well, I think your username says it all. I happen to be a big fan of voting, and I think that we have to perform our civic duty. After all, there's a lot of people that sacrifice their life just for our right to do it. Until next time, you guys keep sending me creative comments. Even if I don't agree with you, I'm going to feature you on a future episode. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show, and it helps you if you ever have a problem with any sick reptile that you have as a pet. Hey, I want to thank the guys over at Ball Python Addiction for the really cool shirt, and I really want to shout out to some really loyal followers of ours that started a page about getting our show put on TV. If you want to support that, go to facebook.com/SnakeBytesOnTV. Until next time, this has been Snake Bites.